Simply slept and woke up with nine-pack abs. Even my sister blushed when she saw me. The reason is my freakish ability to grow stronger. By dreaming in my dreams, I fight zombies and gain their memories and abilities from when they were alive. But just the day before, I was a loser with a vital energy and blood value of only zero point 0.7, while even the big sister, who moves bricks at the construction site, had a value of zero point 0.8. My teacher told me I was hopeless, doomed, never to afford 4 dishes in a meal. It turns out this is a world that reveres combat power. 100 years ago, many monsters emerged on Earth, and human firearms became ineffective against them at their wits' end. Humans awakened special abilities to defeat these monsters, ushering in the era of martial arts. Vital energy and blood value is akin to chakra, representing the internal energy capacity of the body. To ensure I could graduate from the martial artist class, my father worked 5 jobs a day just to afford 2 bottles of Vitality Boost powder to increase my vital energy and blood value. But I knew this was a complete waste of money. Not wanting to disappoint my parents, I routinely returned to my room to practice the National Basic Body Conditioning Routine, the 14th set of National Middle School students' broadcast exercises. Gritting my teeth, I barely managed to finish 3 repetitions before I fainted from exhaustion. The next moment, as usual, I found myself in this dream. I pinched my face hard. It seems I slept too deeply again. This was already my 101st entry into the dream. Just then, a zombie in a bulletproof vest launched at me. "You again, why do you keep following me?" Disgusted by his rotten, unbrushed teeth, for 2 years causing goosebumps all over. Damn it. I'm at least half a martial artist, and in my own dream, you still dare to bully me. Then my size 40/25 kicked him in the waist, anger clouding my reason, and the zombie flew 2 meters away. Then I picked up a large rock from the ground and smashed it onto the zombie's head 99 times until its brain splattered and it finally stopped moving. It seems the zombie's weakness is its head. Once damaged, it ceases to function. Just then, a cloud of smoke surged towards me. What is this? My head hurts so much. Then various memories of a man flooded my mind. A soldier body, refining breathing techniques, terrifying beasts. This man seemed very powerful. Could these be the memories of that guy before he died? While reflecting on this, another zombie lunged at me. My body subconsciously reacted with a catch, transfer, and release, all in one fluid motion, knocking the zombie to the ground. Is this really me? I could feel a surge of power continuously flowing through my body. It seems that killing a zombie not only grants me their memories, but also their strength. It's so easy to gain the experience that others have accumulated over a lifetime. Just as I was marveling at how incredible this dream was, an impatient voice woke me up. It turned out to be my sister calling me to eat. My sister and I are stark contrasts, although she is a few years younger. She is the genius representative of the school. Her vital energy and blood value is about to reach level 1, martial artist. Thus, I became the brother she is, anxious. Not to mention, as I took off my soaked shirt, I was surprised to find that my physique had become so good I wasn't tired and felt energetic. Not only that, I remembered all the memories and various combat techniques inherited from that Z zombie. It turns out everything in the dream was real. The next moment, my suddenly increased terrifying appetite surprised my family. My father laughed and said, "Boys need to eat a lot to increase their vital energy and blood value." "Dad, he's 18 already. Do you think that just by eating one can increase vital energy and blood?" Maybe my vital energy and blood value really did increase in the dream. After dinner, I quietly went to the neighboring martial arts gym. Suddenly, a green light emerged, and I was surprised to see the information displayed on the panel above. What, 0.96? It went up by zero point 0.2 in just 1 hour. Some ordinary people might take 2 years to increase by zero point 0.1. Then I closed my eyes and gathered strength in my hands. At that moment, all the combat techniques and experiences of the bulletproof vest man from before were imprinted in my mind. I then delivered my strongest blow. Ding, 113. This increase even surpassed the vital energy and blood value standard. Thus, I couldn't sleep at night due to insomnia. Since I couldn't sleep, I might as well practice the broadcast exercises. As I threw punch after punch, I found my body involuntarily performing an extremely complex set of fist techniques. This turned out to be the body refining technique that the zombie had learned before, and now it was etched into my bones. It seems this is the real treasure of the dream. But the next moment, I felt listless. A strong sense of hunger overwhelmed me. It's over. Why am I so hungry? Could it be because my vital energy and blood value has increased and my body can't keep up with the energy supply and ordinary meals can't replenish it? I need nutritional supplements. But thinking about my family's current income, I couldn't afford those expensive medicinal ingredients. I had to rely on myself. It seems extremely difficult for a poor family to produce a top scholar for someone like my sister. It could only be due to exceptional talent, and now the only way to increase income might be the school's scholarship. Every year, the school provides a lot of resources to outstanding students. So in tomorrow's college combat test, I must show my talent and strength to get that scholarship. The next day, when my Kanhing classmate, Fatty, saw my muscular body, he couldn't help but be amazed. "What have you been doing? I hardly recognize you after just a few days." Then we headed to the combat training ground. Today's class is taught by a level 2 martial artist with a large scar on his hand, a man who has truly battled monstrous beasts on the field. He then taught us a few sets of combat boxing, but I felt the Ta techniques he demonstrated were too simplistic compared to the sophisticated moves of the zombie in my dream. Then the Ta-ter asked the student to come up for a demonstration. Unsurprisingly, this opportunity to show off was clearly meant for Yan. After all, the teachers at the academy also wanted to curry favor with him. Not only does his family own Mind D, but his talent is extraordinary. He now nearly possesses the strength of a level 1 martial artist. The two then performed the combat boxing demonstration on stage after their practice. The teacher politely pointed out several aspects of Young's technique. Young, he thought to himself, "You dare to teach me the air level 2 martial artist cannon fodder on the battlefield?" Then came the practical combat segment to highlight Yafi's excellence. The teacher even called out, "Is there any student who would like to spar with Young Fi?" Seeing the students with heads hung low, the teacher felt helpless. These students are all too timid to achieve greatness. This is the worst class I've ever taught. It seems only Yef is decent. The next moment, the teacher was startled because he noticed a pair of eyes staring intently at him from below. That sharp gaze, only those who have experienced the battlefield have such a temperament. It seems there is still a good seedling in this class. Then I was called by the teacher to fight against Young Fi. Fadi by my side told me to quickly refuse. If I got injured in this fight, it would directly affect the unified exam in a few days. But I calmly looked at him, indicating that I had been trained well these days and should be fine. This young man is calm and fearless, a good seedling indeed. Why didn't I notice him before? When a teacher learned that my vital energy and blood value was 0.7, he was stunned. Could it be that I was mistaken? He then instructed that the sparring should be for technical exchange, to stop at the point of contact and last for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Yang Yi constantly taunted me on stage, advising me not to brace with your hands when you fall or you might break a bone. I simply took a stance and said calmly, "Come on then." A large hand swiftly flew towards my face. "Kid, do you know what's most important in actual combat? Controlling the gap between you and your opponent, predicting the opponent's distance, observing their moves, or choosing a targeted combat strategy. No, it's the gap between your vital energy and blood value, and mine just as his fist was 1 centimeter from me." The entire audience was frozen, worried for my safety. But the punch left Yangi face expression stiff. Meanwhile, his slow movement had already been clearly seen by me. I quickly squatted down and then delivered a powerful left hook to his face, sending him flying. 20 meters away. This scene not only shocked the classmates, but even I was surprised. The teacher, suspecting that I used a special potion, decided to take me in for interrogation. He then wanted to take me to the office for a checkup. I didn't explain and simply placed my hand in the scanner, leaving the teacher shocked as he looked at the panel. This attribute is already that of a formal level 1 martial artist. Even in the entire White River City, this qualifies as genius. Learning that my vital energy and blood value had risen from zero point 0.8 to 1.5 in half a month, the teacher inwardly exclaimed that I was a monster. Thus, he wanted to place me in a better class with more qualified teachers. But I refused. After all, no teacher could improve me as fast as dreaming. The teacher then pulled out a black gold card with at least several hundred in it. Since that's the case, the school can only offer you financial support. However, there was one condition. I had to represent the school in a military district camp assessment next month. Naturally, I wouldn't refuse such free money. But I did make one point clear. The school couldn't restrict my freedom to attend classes as I still needed to dream at home. Back home, I continued to fight monsters in my dreams, to level up. However, these monsters weren't very strong, so my improvement was limited. So based on the memories of that zombie, I went to the so-called Base 1359 to uncover any secrets. The walls here were more than 30 meters thick. What kind of battle could have caused such destruction? That's when I saw a white-haired zombie sitting in a command tower. Our eyes met, and I felt as though I was thrown back, my soul torn apart. It seems that one must not approach this place without sufficient strength. Afterward, I followed the zombie memories to a dark room. A glowing stone there caught my attention. When I touched it, a burst of green light exploded. Then a voice murmured, "Welcome to Eternal Sky Technologies." From it, I learned about the destruction of this world and my dreams. I hadn't expected such a powerful martial arts system to be unable to withstand the monster attacks. But why does the division of martial arts seem the same as ours? I then looked into the history of this world, but the next scene left me stunned. This was our world, 10,000 years in the future. The world had been destroyed by monsters and the remaining humans had abandoned the main planet. I then used the system to pull up my information. It turns out I was just a civilian, unmarried who died at 28. When I tried to access my sister's information, a warning popped up. Insufficient permissions. A blood sample. Gene login. Required. I didn't expect this elf's method of drawing blood to be so unique. Dang! The next moment the system detected my human gene and immediately initiated the kindling plan. When I checked my information again, it had changed. I now had level 2 clearance, graduated first from River College, joined the military, district 3 years later, and died in the southern battle zone at age 37 unmarried, with the rank of lieutenant. Could it be that my sudden increase in strength altered history after all? My trajectory before the age of 18 was exactly the same, even the surgeon abilities during the college entrance exam. I then used the database to look up the best techniques suitable for a level 1 martial artist that my current permissions allowed. 3 appeared: stellar body refining technique, natural breathing method, and crystal visualization technique. Although they are all introductory texts, they were created by level 11 powerhouses. The strongest in our current world are only level 9. How terrifying level 11 must be. I then began to practice on the spot, focusing on techniques for refining the body, cultivating internal energy, and enhancing mental strength. These techniques were 1,000 times stronger than the current practices. The next day, I woke up with a tired face, but I felt a difference in my body. This stench must be the impurities being expelled from my body, now that I had everything. I decided to try making some medicine. I just needed to find a pharmacy lab, which isn't something the average person can forward, as they are incredibly precious. I asked 15 pharmacies on 9 streets, and not one would rent their space to me. Feeling dejected, I walked into an old and rundown pharmacy. Under my threats and persuasion, the clerk agreed to let me use it for 3 hours. Otherwise, he'd be in trouble when the boss returned. Since it was my first time making medicine, I carefully took out the ingredients and mixed them according to the recipe's ratios, finally producing a purplish-red liquid. However, I only took a small sip, and the next moment a sharp pain surged through me. It felt as if my body was being sliced and burned. The pain lasting for 2 minutes. I didn't expect the medicine to be so strong. It immediately replenished the deficit in my vital energy and blood caused by the rapid improvements recently. Most importantly, such a powerful effect comes with no side effects, truly a product of 10,000 years. Later, suddenly, there was a rapid knocking at the door. It turned out the pharmacy owner had come back early. The clerk urged me to quickly escape through the window if discovered. He would be furt. Sure enough, the female owner came back and fired him on the spot. Being a stickler for cleanliness, she even wanted to wash all the equipment. She then began drinking a medicine she had just brought back. Nah, this is ineffective. The reaction is too low. It turns out the owner was the daughter of the once prominent MACT Pharmaceuticals. But now she only had this small shop. She researched medicine liquids daily, hoping to one day restore her family's glory. Yet reality kept shattering her resolve with no breakthroughs for many years. But then she noticed a test tube I had accidentally left in the corner. This must have been left by that person, and it even damaged my equipment. But the next moment, a fragrance from the medicine laughed into her nose. Only medicines of a certain grade emit a fragrance. Curious, she tasted it, and a look of astonishment crossed her face. The next moment, the owner dashed outside and called out urgently, "Who was that? Just now he must be a master." The medicine he made was 10 times better than anything currently on the market, and the ingredients used were very inexpensive. Such a talent must be recruited. When she learned from the clerk that this so-called master was just a high school student, the owner was shocked. Could such a monster really exist? On the other side, I was still immersed in my dream, battling zombies. Today's opponent was a level 4 martial artist zombie. Let's see if I can fight you. I blocked the zombie strike head-on, but its formidable impact made me feel as if my arms were breaking. It seems I can't take it head-on, so I used my agility to catch it off guard. Finally, after 2 hours of attacking, I successfully killed it. The next moment, memories flooded my mind. It turns out he was originally a level 5 martial artist who died on the front lines. A true soldier. No wonder his punches were so hard. Although the augmentation of the 3 martial arts techniques allowed me to unleash 10 to even 100 times more power, I wouldn't have been able to defeat him if he hadn't been missing an arm and lacked intelligence. The next day, I went back to the martial arts hall to test my vital energy and blood values again. Let's see how much I've improved over this month. But the data in front of me truly shocked me. 15.6%, surpassing the standard for a level 2 martial artist, and my combat power was off the charts at 3137. As I was leaving, the lady at the counter gave me a maternal smile. Testing twice in 1 month, I was considered a major customer for them. After all, some people don't increase their vital energy and blood value by even a point over several years, so it's rare for people to test frequently. After I left, 2 people slowly walked in. These individuals were the daughter of the martial arts.
After I left, 2 people slowly walked in. These individuals were the daughter of the martial arts gym owner and her disciple. However, the redhead, upon learning that I often come to test my vital energy and blood value, mocked. Just by looking at that guy's outfit, you can tell he's just a kid from an ordinary family. No matter how much he tests, it's futile. Although somewhat arrogant, this statement was indeed based in reality, since he had grown up training with private tutors at the martial arts gym and consuming various supplements. Don't be so proud, some kids are highly talented. She then decided to check today's test records. The next moment her eyes nearly popped out of her sockets. She immediately asked the receptionist to contact him. When a high school student with the strength of a level 2 martial artist, that's unprecedented in the entire White River City. Meanwhile, I had arrived at the school, which I hadn't visited in days, because today was the final vital energy and blood assessment day, which would determine everyone's college future. Seeing me as an ordinary student, the staff treated me with disdain, just handing me a form to fill out and pay the registration fee. After I had taken care of everything, the assessment area was already packed with people. I'd have to wait forever for my turn. Looking around, I noticed several paparazzi-type figures eyeing a girl. This girl is younger than my sister, looking only about 15 or 16 to appear here alone. She must be quite strong. Most people in line today are over 25. Just then a burly figure squeezed into the line. Who is this brazenly cutting in line? Yet none of the people around dared to object. The reason was that this burly man was about to test for level 3 martial artist, a status not exceeded by more than 10 individuals in the entire White River City. The crowd gaped, and even the instructors were startled and let him through. As the man slowly approached the crystal, a couple who had been cut off complained, "It's just a level 3. It's just a level 3 test, not a pass. What's there to show off about?" But the next moment, with a ding, his vital energy and blood value showed 107, shocking the couple so much they spit out grape juice. After all, many people here had never seen a vital energy and blood value break 100. The examiner, shocked, called the burly man to test his combat power. After all, he needed to qualify in both aspects to pass the level 3 martial artist test. Suddenly, with a loud crash, the hall was shaking. What kind of power was this? It seemed like everyone took 2 steps back, but there was one exception, and that was the strikingly handsome me. The examiner, shocked, looked at the scoreboard, which showed an astonishing 10,831. Shao, congratulations on passing the level 3 martial artist exam with a vital energy and blood value over 100 and a combat power over 10,000. The wind pressure from your punch alone can make a level 1 martial artist unstable. You are literally a walking weapon of destruction. At that moment I muttered, so this is what a level 3 martial artist is. Doesn't seem all that impressive, but my words clearly irritated the girl. I've never seen someone who acts so much. Since everyone was still in shock, I stepped forward to take my test first. After all, I couldn't waste time. The examiner appreciated my composure. "Young man, well done. Don't be nervous, just place it slowly. Keep your heart rate normal." The next moment, the numbers on the screen made everyone's jaws drop. Holy, what the hell, 15.8? He's only 17 or 18, right? Did he start cultivating from the womb? Even Xiao Fong, who had just tested, was shocked, as he didn't have such talent himself. Next, I gathered strength in both hands. This time, I wanted to see how strong my full strike was. As a burst of purple light shone, everyone's eyes were glued to the stage. When the storm subsided, the panel showed a number 15,000. At that moment, it was as if everyone's worldview had been shattered. The examiner was so frightened he couldn't speak, as the assessment had exceeded his understanding. Although my vital energy and blood value was at level 1, my strength had surpassed that of a level 3 martial artist, so he declared the assessment temporarily halted. This matter must be reported to the higher-ups. As I was considering whether to leave, a burly figure stood behind me. When I thought he was about to blow up, he instead extended his hand. Kid, I see potential in you. My name is Shia FO. Let's be friends. At that moment, two probing forces quietly competed, but the next second I unexpectedly gained several little fans wanting to take photos with me. Damn, I've got to get out of here. At the entrance of the Martial Artist Association, a classmate said, "Don't worry, isn't the martial artist certification of breeze for a genius like her?" Obviously, they were talking about the purple-clad young girl. At that moment, El China noticed Lucian coming out of the door, clearly surprised. I also noticed my sister opposite, so I slowly walked up to her. "China, what are you doing here? This is something I should be asking you, isn't it? You're always lazy, skipping school to sleep at home all day. What are you doing here at the Mark Artist Association?" Of course, I wouldn't tell her that my sleep is actually my training, so I lied, claiming I had some business and would be right back. At that moment, a short-haired girl approached. "Hello, brother L. I'm Ching's classmate F. Fan. Today, we're here to accompany Sister Yang Yuan for her assessment. This brother Lu looks so handsome, not at all like how China usually describes him." I patted my sister on the head and said, "Okay, I have some things to take care of, so I'll head back now." While they were joking about the sibling relationship, a girl came out. "How did it go, sister? Did you pass?" "Oh, don't mention it. There was an incident, so the assessment was halted." What kind of incident could cause a martial artist assessment to stop?" "It's because a monster appeared, that guy about my age, but his vital energy and blood value is an incredible 15.7 and his combat power is off the charts at 15,000. "What's this big brother's name?" The sister casually spit out two words, "Luen." "What, Luen? Isn't that my useless big brother?" Meanwhile, I had already returned home prepared to sleep, and the first thing I did was pull up my personal information. Indeed, my future has changed again. An 18-year-old level 2 martial artist causing a sensation in White River City. Later, with the recommendation of the Martial Association, I entered the top 20 in the Eastcom Province Talent Training Camp. Subsequently, I served and retired as an officer after 5 years founding Xing Martial Arts. Just a week ago, I was still that 37-year-old level 4 martial artist who died. My future really has changed because of me, but the power of a level 6 martial artist is weak, not enough to change the future, so I need to become stronger only by breaking through the martial arts peak. Do I stand a chance? On the other side, the association president was lamenting the talent training camp is coming up soon in White River City without any martial arts heritage families or substantial resource. Often has its promising seeds picked by other places. Damn, I've always wanted to discover talent and achieve results. Just then, an assistant frantically pushed open the door. "What's the matter? Can't you knock on the door?" "Sorry, President, it's urgent. The examiner has brought major news. There's a candidate under 18 at our assessment site who reached a combat power of 15,000 as a level 2 martial artist." "Holy," the president exclaimed. It's been years since White River City saw such a young level 2 martial artist, but the next moment he was even more stunned. This young man performed a perfect form of martial arts. The assistant didn't understand what that meant. "Let me put it this way, there are fewer than 10 kids his age in the world who can perfect their martial arts to this extent." But then he thought again. Although perfect form gives a certain boost to martial arts, a vital energy and blood value of 15.7 shouldn't be able to produce 15,000 combat power, and he's from an ordinary family. There's only one explanation: he's a monstrous genius. We must secure him. Thinking this, the president not only laughed heartily, but our talent training camp has hope now. "President, you old flirt, put me down first. Let's go prepare the car immediately. I want to personally visit Luan's house." On the other side, a disciple inside the martial arts gym shouted, "Sister, I found him. His name is Luan, a student at White River Academy. His dad's a mover, his mom's a cashier, and he has a younger sister in high school. Go and buy some valuable gifts suitable for parents and a young girl right now." However, I was completely unaware of the sensation outside until China shouted, "Brother, someone is looking for you." It had been a long time since China called me brother. I didn't know who the visitors were, but as soon as I went downstairs, I saw two large figures. The president of the Martial Association and the daughter of Red River Martial Arts Gym had actually come to visit my home in person. Up close, I could feel that the president was very strong, definitely possessing the strength of a level 6 martial artist. After some pleasantries, the president got straight to the point, pulling out a certificate and a check from his trouser pocket. "Luen, on behalf of White River City, I present you with this level 2 certificate and a prize of 1 million since your strength reaches level 3. Future allowances will be issued at a level 3 martial artist Rate holy crap old man, are you talking about our son, a level 2 martial artist? Are we dreaming? Thank you, President. But I suspect you have another purpose for needing my help, right? Otherwise, just a level 2 martial artist's allowance wouldn't warrant a personal visit from the President. The kid has a good temperament, unfazed by events. Since that's the case, I'll speak plainly. We'd like you to represent White River City at the East Com Province's talent training camp. At this, pink hair was startled into action. President Sia, this doesn't seem right. Although the talent training camp is indeed a gathering place for martial arts prodigies, it is also a place where talents can be destroyed. Our gym's most promising senior brother was never the same after he returned from the camp, lost among the crowd. Luing has limitless potential. He doesn't need to take this risk. Although the President did not argue with pink hair, he left the decision to me. It's true that the place is filled with geniuses and is incredibly brutal, but I believe in the potential of Luong, and that he will not stop there. However, I smiled, then grabbed the President's registration form. Do I even need to think about it? Of course I'm going. In that case, I'll head back now. Someone will come to pick you up in a few days. Then pink hair also started to explain the purpose of her visit, which was to invite me to become an honorary disciple at the Red River Martial Arts Gym. This would not limit my freedom. All courses would be free. I could receive personal instruction from the master, and I would even enjoy the benefits of a head instructor every month, but I declined without a second thought. Me become a disciple at your gym? What are you thinking? It might seem all benefit and no harm to me, but I'm aware of their little schemes. Being a disciple is out of the question, but I can be an honorary member. After all, it's close to home, and I usually train at your place anyway. Then pink hair said she would pay me a salary of 100,000 per month to be an honorary member of the Red River Martial Arts Gym. After everyone left, my parents finally dared to speak. Son, when did you become a level 2 martial artist? Wasn't your vital energy and blood value just 0.8 a few days ago? Of course I wouldn't tell them about the dreaming. Mom, you've worked hard. No need to do night shifts anymore. Dad doesn't need to do manual labor either. We have money now. Inside the Hall of Benevolence, the madam was angrily biting her finger. Damn it, where is that guy? It's been so many days and I don't even know his name. The more I analyzed the data on that medicine he made, the more terrifying it becomes. It has dozens of additional effects and almost no side effects. I've searched through the recently logged pharmacist's data and can't find any information on this genius pharmacist. At that moment, the clerk suddenly shouted in surprise, "Boss, I found him. It's him, the genius from White River City." Holy crap, the madam was stunned. Although she knew he was young, she didn't expect him to be a minor. How am I supposed to get him now? Meanwhile, I was wandering through the hills, deeply experiencing nature. It seemed that with each breath, I absorbed some of the natural forces, merging my body with nature. This is the true natural breathing method. When I opened my eyes, I realized I had made a breakthrough. My vital energy and blood value had significantly increased. It looks like I need to start preparing the Morrow Nourishing Elixir ingredients. The remaining ingredients are also reserved at the foot of the mountain. Let's see how fast my newly learned cloud chasing step is. 2 seconds later, I reached the foot of the mountain. But then, a local fool saw that I was a student, sat down and jacked up the prices, trying to force a sale. Otherwise, he threatened to throw me up the mountain to feed the dogs. Hell no. How could I tolerate this? Seeing that I had no reaction, several knife-wielding thugs appeared behind him. It looks like you're not just fools, but a bunch of bandits. Bandits? You underestimate us. We're all bona fide level 1 martial artists. There's no surveillance here, so if you know what's good for you, leave your money and belongings. At that moment, I didn't bother with them, simply slamming my palm onto a rock and crushing it into powder, a feat only a level 3 martial artist could achieve. Are kids these days all this badass? They immediately knelt down, calling me dad and begging for mercy. The next day, I took the association's car to East Com Province. So this is the talent training camp. Looking at the entrance, it looks more like a military base than a training camp. It seems you need to wear a martial artist badge to get in, but my badge was framed by my mom, so I was stopped right at the entrance. Look, he's from that bottom feeder city. Didn't a bunch of people from that city go in yesterday? He doesn't even have a badge. He probably got in through the back door. After the instructor checked the list and found my name with a special recommendation from the White River president, this only solidified their belief that I had entered through the back door. But because there were so few from my city, I was arranged to go in with people from the neighboring Clear Source city. The moment I stepped through the gate, I felt something odd under my feet. This was no ordinary entrance ceremony. Your task is to make it to the exit across the corridor. Succeed in your in and fail and go home. This obviously caused dissatisfaction among the new recruits. But as soon as the voice fell, the ground beneath us split open and everyone fell into a secret passage. It seems the other side meant making it through here. I immediately scanned with my psychic powers, and sure enough, this was not a simple passage. It was filled with traps. Then, led by young Master Lenyu of Clear Source City, the local genius group spoke. Since we all represent present Clear Source City, we should stick together. So they wanted me, the supposed dud from White River City, to lead the way. They just wanted to use me as a guinea pig. I thought about scaring them a bit, but then decided not to waste my breath on these scumbags. If you don't want to go, just move aside. After all, ferocious beasts always walk alone. It's only sheep that flock together. A bunch of bubble gum appeared. These were mechanical puppets. Everyone panicked. The weakest mechanical puppet was far stronger than a level 1 martial artist. Putting so many in a training camp, are they trying to kill us? Though I'd heard that these things could match a level 4 martial artist, their cost is much higher than training a level 4 martial artist. Look at that kid from White River City. He must be peeing himself, standing motionless among the puppets. This kid came through the back door. Not even a martial artist, probably turned into an idiot with one punch. But while they laugh at me as a fool, I laugh at them as idiots. A puppet swung a punch at me, and then there was a loud crash behind me. When the smoke cleared, I caught the puppet's fist unharmed. Everyone's face was filled with disbelief. He actually caught it. Is this all? Then I grabbed the mechanic hand and lifted it. Suddenly, a burst of energy blew the puppet apart. But my action made everyone laugh because they thought these were just effective scraps. Otherwise, with my strength, I couldn't have come out unscathed. Then young Master Lin stepped forward to personally demonstrate. Watch closely how I get through. Oh, young Master Lin is so powerful. But the next moment, a large hand slapped his face, smashing him against the wall. Everyone be careful. These aren't level 1 martial artist puppets. They're damn level 2s. Immediately, everyone from Clear Source City started to worry. A whole bunch of level 2 puppets. Definitely impassable. But I was getting a bit bored. These puppets crumble with just a little force from me. Truly boring. On the other side, an instructor puzzled looked at the screen. What the hell? Why have most of the puppets stopped responding? Is there a malfunction? These are new. And I just kept breaking through barriers until I reached the end of the corridor, and the door opened. Are you the guardian of the first level? Come on. Fight me. What? No, I'm an examiner. What's going on with this kid? Meanwhile, 2 chief instructors were observing the situations in various examination areas, but they seemed somewhat dissatisfied with this year's candidates. Only 8 people have awakened their talents and become official martial artists, of which 5 have non-P potential strength-based talents, 2 speed and defense types, and 1 psychic type. Who is the best of this batch? 18 years old. I plan to focus on developing her awakened psychic talents. Less than 2 years ago. That's good. Just like you back in the day. But the next moment, Green Hair was shocked because an instructor had been hit and was calling for backup. When I kicked open the examination hall door, dragging the unconscious examiner, many military officers were present. You're not a student from Clear Source City, are you? Who are you? I am Lu Wing from Evergreen Mountain Village, White River City. Good lad. Not only causing destruction but also beating up a teacher. Ah, I thought he was part of the assessment. The next moment, the chief instructor launched a psychic probe at me and I withdrew my soul. Seeing that I was fine, she then let me go to the cafeteria to wait. The two then started to study my data. Blink's attributes are unknown for now. List him as a seed player like Charlene. On the other side, I arrived at the long-awaited cafeteria. Is this the legendary beast? Me, bring 10 more plates. Just then, a girl came over and asked to sit next to me, but I refused, fearing she might share my rice. It turned out to be Yang Yuan, the only person from my city. Although the president had said that no one from White River City had been able to come here for many years, Yang Yuan slowly said, "Actually, students from White River come here every year, but no one has passed the assessment for many years, so it's not mentioned because everything here costs points." This time, only 3 people started with points. All 3, without exception, were super geniuses who had awakened their T attributes. So few? Just 3 people. There's said to be a 4th person, rumored to be incredibly violent, known for attacking instructors during exams, a loose cannon. Hearing such descriptions of me made me spit out my drink. Seeing me startled, Yan Yuan smirk, confirming that everyone here was a super genius. Even Luang, who had made waves in White River City, was just another person here. But the next second, a line of people stood behind the girl. Looping, considering you damaged 88 puppets during the entrance assessment and knocked an instructor unconscious, requiring hospital action, please come with us. In an instant, the incident swept through the entire camp. In the guidance room, the chief instructor scrutinized me for 2 minutes. Do you realize you damaged 88 of our machines, each worth at least 10 million? However, after discussion, this will be considered damage during the assessment, and you will not be held responsible. At that moment, 3 more students walked in. This is your assessment reward. Here, the stronger you are, the more resources you get. But why is my card white? Could it be empty? Beast meat costs 5 points per meal. Using the training room costs 10 points per hour. 1 session of coaching from an instructor costs 30 points, while a session with the chief or deputy chief instructor costs 100 points. It seems this is just a meal card. Ha, you kid, acting coy even after getting a bargain. Do you know you have a Tage 000 points on your card? Hearing about the 1,000 points, the others instantly became displeased. I didn't expect you guys to play favorites. That's really disappointing. It must take some major connections, bribing instructors, spreading rumors. The assessment instructors are at least level 3 martial artists, and injuring one would require at least a level 4 martial artist. With his escaped body, even the strongest strength-type talent from the early stages couldn't do it. I don't accept this. If you think you're strong, prove it to me. After speaking, Dang moved to test my martial prowess. Although such external combat is not allowed, the instructor did not intervene. Then the man's talent skill, petrification defense, activated, and with a mere sound, I aimed my orchid finger at his forehead and lightly flicked it. In an instant, the seemingly invincible Dang was sent flying back, unconscious. Instructor, he asked for it. At this point, the other 2 students were stunned, shocked. Was this really just a student? He seemed to be on a completely different level from us. However, as I was leaving, the chief instructor stopped me. She asked about my training plans, mentioning that she could personally teach me if I used my points, but I didn't even turn back, as I had more important things to handle. Hey, you brat! What could possibly be more important here than personal instruction from the chief instructor? I simply said, that would be sleeping, of course. After everyone left, the chief instructor spoke coldly. Do you remember Shang Pi from our batch? He was a genius who surpassed everyone early on with his strength-type talent. But true strength isn't just about muscle. Those who rely solely on the power boost from their strength-type talents will eventually fade away. Lu Wing might also face the same fate. Meanwhile, I was engaged in a desperate battle, this time against a formidable opponent. I used every trick in the book to manage a draw, and only with a resolve to perish together was I able to slay him. Indeed, this zombie had been a level 6 quasi-grandmaster in life. Had I not protected myself with psychic power at the end, I would have been finished. Then all the techniques, body movements, fist techniques, and spear play flowed into my memory. This was the most important wealth of my life, and there I was, standing on the shoulders of giants in martial arts. Then, in my spiritual consciousness, a small figure separated and then remerged with my main self. Soon after, it felt like glass shattering in my sea of consciousness, and I was overjoyed. My psychic power had broken through. After so long, it was time to check my credentials again. Sure enough, it had changed. My access level was now 3. My highest military rank, maybe Major General, lived to be 156 years old and was promoted to a level S martial artist before the age of 65. Now that my permissions had upgraded, I could access more information. I then reviewed the advanced chapters of the 3 techniques. I had practiced, and I must say these techniques were incredibly powerful. Then a book in the corner caught my eye. The Complete Divine Illumination of the Underworld King Scripture, created by Danon PH, an 11th level powerhouse of the Martial Alliance. I have to say Danon Fong was truly a genius to create such a high psychic technique. He probably was among the top in the 11th level powerhouses, but even such strong individuals could not withstand the destruction of human civilization. So every minute and every second, I must make myself stronger. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed, and under the chief instructor's guidance, Charlene was quickly approaching the rank of a level 1 mind weaver. It must be said, you have remarkable talent to have progressed so far in just a few weeks. However, the chief instructor also discovered a critical issue with Charlene. There is a mental vulnerability in her psychic strength. This is likely due to a trauma inflicted by someone in the past. The only solution is to find this person and either defeat or kill them. During this month, every student has undergone the same transformation, except I have been sleeping in every day in the dormitory. The instructor has given up on me, and my classmates think that my peak period is over. They believe I am intentionally not practicing to add an air of mystery, when in reality I have already been surpassed by several other talents. Only Yang Yuan believes in me and has argued with classmates multiple times on my behalf, because in her heart she knows I am not one to avoid challenges. Suddenly, the crowd in the hallway shouted, "Chia Yong is about to break the 4-fold gravity record." This immediately drew the students to watch, as most of them couldn't even withstand 1-fold gravity for long. As the audience grew, Chia Yang's smile began to curl at the corners of his mouth. This is the feeling of being adored, exhilarating. Although I was not as good as you initially, I have now left you far behind. I've been training day and night for a whole month while you've been just sleeping. As soon as he finished speaking, I swiftly moved behind him. This is the gravity training room, right? Time to test the results. I'll start with 3 hours. You've been sleeping all this time and still think you can become stronger? What a waste of a TH000 points. But I paid him no heed and walked into the gravity room. Hey, the gravity room is no joke. If you go in without warming up, be careful your heart doesn't burst from the pressure. However, 2 minutes passed, and I still hadn't moved. But the next moment, my action made Chia Yong's face turn pale. Damn, this has to be fake, right? He's hopping around under double gravity. I felt no pressure at all. And then, press the adjuster again. He's probably going to stop now. He must be unable to withstand it. But then, there was a ding sound, and a roaring noise filled the room. Chia Yang's face contorted as he suddenly switched it to fourfold gravity. Is this fourfold gravity? At that moment I knelt on one knee. Ahaha, he can't stand it anymore. He still thinks he can surpass me, dream on. But the next moment, he broke into a cold sweat. The rest of the audience also stared in disbelief. I was doing pull-ups with just 2 fingers. Why is he so strong? Hasn't he been sleeping for over a month? At that moment, I suddenly came to my senses. Seems I'm about ready to adapt to fourfold gravity. But then I pressed the button again, turning it red, indicating that going any higher would be extremely dangerous. I could feel the pressure and immediately adjusted it using the earth breathing technique. The gravity room was now packed with students, all shouting, "That man is back!" And at that moment, I had reached 5-fold gravity, where I could still barely perform the body refining techniques, but it wasn't enough. I needed more pressure. People thought I was going to the control panel to stop, as enduring 5-fold gravity for so long was already a record. But the button I pressed was to increase it further. What, is he crazy? This will cause an accident. Go and inform the chief instructor immediately. What you're saying, Lucian broke the 8-fold gravity. What's happening? What kind of strength does this kid have now? It seems this is already the limit of my body. The next second, the divine illumination of the Underworld King scripture activated in my body. In just a moment, my vital energy and blood were enhanced by nearly 10%, and my internal organs were repaired and protected. If that's the case, let's see what my ultimate limit is. This is already the strongest record in history. Could he possibly go higher? After saying this, the surrounding crowd all knelt down, as the intense gravity even affected the area outside the training room. Inside, the gravity was so strong that it cracked the floor beneath me. My blood felt like it was congealing, and my bones creaked. Just staying conscious under this pressure was a struggle, but I knew well that the person who changes the future is not the one with the greatest talent or the most resources, but the one who can break through their limits. With what little consciousness I had left, I urged my body to stand up, while outside a phenomenon of thousands worshipping had already formed. I will not concede to the future. 2 minutes later, I walked out of the gravity room, and to my surprise, my record-breaking 10-fold gravity achievement earned me 4,000 points. Is Yoon a strength-type martial artist? How could he break the record in the gravity room? Could it be that his vital energy and blood have advanced to the 4th tier? And it seems he's headed towards the agility room. Yang Yuan felt like she was no longer even in the same league as Luang. Meanwhile, Red Hair, after receiving guidance from Instructor Chin, had been training day and night in the agility room. He had now adapted to the 2nd tier of agility and was close to a breakthrough. At this moment, he was admiring his own agility talent, considering himself a genius. But the moment he stepped out the door, he saw a crowd of students and even the chief instructors gathered around another room. He immediately asked a nearby student and burst into laughter when he learned that it was Luang who had entered. "You don't think this sleep god can break my record, do you? You're nothing. Just look up there." Inside, I started at full power as soon as I entered, dodging beams of light shooting at me from all directions. How is this possible? The agility room has thousands of laser sensors, and nobody knows what will happen next. Are you sure it's his first time? However, when Red Hair heard that Luang had just broken the 10-fold gravity, his eyes nearly popped out. He's a strength-type talent, isn't he? Hasn't he been sleeping for a month? Even the instructors found it hard to believe, as such nimble reactions were not even seen in experienced soldiers on the battlefield. It seemed less like reacting and more like precognition, leading them to suspect Luang might be a mind weaver. But since we tested him last time, Could we have missed something? I completed the second tier challenge in just 2 minutes, and the instructor could see that Lu Xing's agility had reached the state of perfection. I then initiated the third tier test, which was faster and involved relentless all-directional bombardment with no gaps or dead angles. To complete this challenge, I had to bring out my full capabilities. Instructor Qing was again astonished. This is the intricate mastery realm. I only broke through at the age of 22 with my agility talent. As the seconds ticked by, the difficulty also increased. Mental perception alone was no longer enough. Then I activated the wind-breathing technique and vanished like a gust of wind inside the room. At that moment, the naked I could no longer keep up with my speed, until the lights went out, indicating that I had passed the third tier. Let's go, it looks like he's really tired now. He's taking all the spotlight today. No, it seems like he wants to continue. Just when Instructor Chun thought that the third tier was my limit, I activated the fourth tier of agility. But the fourth tier of agility isn't just being shooting from one direction. Instead, there are countless small robotic spheres around, each bursting out with 4 beams of light like numerous giant nets coming at you, leaving no escape. Is he even human? However, as the test reached 1/3 completion, my wind-breathing technique was also reaching its speed limit. Next, I could only rely on the divine illumination of the Underworld King scripture, with my psychic perception rapidly expanding from me as the center. This feeling of elongated time is called temporal sense, which means my psychic power has reached the transformative third tier. So you really are a mind weaver, then? A soul Dharma body flew out. It seems I need to test him further. As the Dharma body came at me, I said, "Oh ho! Can't hide it anymore." I then dispersed it with a hand chop. Indeed, he's a mind weaver, and his psychic power is no less than mine. Watching is one thing. Touching is too much. However, it seems I've also reached my limit. I didn't expect that just activating temporal sense would consume so much psychic energy. I'll have to try again next time. For now, I've only completed 56% of the fourth tier. Red Hair felt like his worldview was shattering. Is this really something a strength-type martial artist would do? Then the chief instructor called me over to the command room and pulled out a huge syringe from her trousers. They thought my vital energy and blood levels had exceeded Tier 3. Otherwise, it would be impossible to withstand the gravity rune. The next moment, the chief instructor gave me an injection, and yet my vital energy and blood values had already reached 124, a Tier 3 martial artist. Well, it's been over 10 years since we've seen such a young Tier 3 martial artist. Now it's time to test combat power levels. Let's see where my limit is. Breath of Flame, 8-fold constant star punch. In an instant, the command room seemed to tremble, and the next moment the panel displayed 207,920. The instructor's mouth hung open in surprise. A Tier 3 martial artist had just demonstrated the combat power of Tier 5. Then the chief instructor pulled out a crystal. This type of crystal is used to test psychic power, similar to how vital energy and blood levels are tested. The chief instructor is also a rare super genius, young yet possessing a psychic strength of 143 intensity and 4.2 purity. I then took the crystal in hand. Come on, I want to see to what extent my psychic power has reached. The crystal emitted a burst of light, and the chief instructor exclaimed. It was impossible. My psychic power purity was as high as 20.3, 5 times hers. It's known that purifying psychic power even slightly is immensely difficult, akin to compressing a normal towel down to the size of a coin. The term genius can no longer describe him. She then took off a pendant from around her neck and handed it to me.